Hello everyone, welcome to BeginnersC Lesson. This is going to be lesson number 3, unlike last lesson, which was actually lesson number 2, and I said it was number 3 like a big idiot. And today we're going to be talking about working with different libraries, and we're going to be, working on creating a complex interest or compound interest calculator. So, means I have to kind of explain a few things out, huh? So in C++, there are operations that you can take on numbers. So just like you would do 1 plus 3 in the real world, you can do I plus j in C++. The 4 most basic operations, or actually let's do the 5 most basic operations, are plus, minus, comma, multiply, divide, and modulo. Modulo is, let me kind of come over here, is the remainder when you do division. So if I were to do 10 divided by 3, or 10 mod 3, what that means is take 10, divide it by 3, then give me the remainder. So in that case, it's 1. That's actually used a fair amount in computer programming, believe it or not, as are plus and minus. Multiply and divide to a lesser extent, but plus and minus you'll be using everywhere. And I also want to sort of describe a few things. So let's say we have a variable, as I asked you guys to do in lesson number 1. So let's say you had 3 sort of variables, A, B, and C. Now, one thing we can do is we can say total equals A plus B plus C. That's totally fine. But what if total already had a value? Like, let's say we have total equals 10. Well, then what are we going to do? We're going to do total equals total plus A plus B plus C. That's kind of lackluster. The easier way to do this, so if you're keeping kind of a running total, you can use what's called a compound operator. So in this case, you would do total plus equals A plus B plus C. And that will come out to your new total. So it saves you a little bit of typing. And there's 4 different compound operators. Or actually, there might be 5. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever had to use modulo in that way. It's plus equals, minus equals, multiplied by equals, divided by equals. So, now let's get down to business. What we're going to be doing in this lesson, or what I'm going to be doing in this lesson, is creating a compound interest calculator. What you guys are going to be doing for homework is creating a simple interest calculator. So when you guys are doing your homework, the sort of way to do it is you're going to do future money equals principal, which is your starting value, multiplied by rate multiplied by time. Okay, so to begin with, on my compound interest calculator, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to declare a few variables. I'm going to declare int years equals 0, and I'm going to do some doubles. Let's do APR, all uppercase, because why not? You can define multiple variables and separate them by a comma as long as they're the same type. we're going to do principal equals 0.0 and total equals 0.0. And as you can see, I've clearly put a 0 divided by 0 rather than dot. And okay, so those are the variables that we're going to begin with. And we're going to ask the user to do some inputs. So we're going to say, enter your starting capital, CN principal. And to save time, we're going to copy-paste this twice more. And we're going to say, enter your APR example 8.0% equals 8. And then the final one is enter how long you want to, actually let's say, how many years will you invest this money for? And then we're going to change this. That's going to be APR. And this is going to be years. And so, in this case, we need to include another library for compounding interest, because something that's missing from C++ is we don't have the exponent operator. Like, there is no raised to the second power thing like that, like there is in mathematics. So we're going to include a library called CMath. And once we include that, we can come back down here. And so the way that this sort of works is there's three things that need to happen now. When we're taking a percentage, what that actually means is, or well, any percentage means out of 100, which means that first we have to take it, APR, we're going to do divided by equal 100. And so that means that we're dividing it by 100. So it turns from 8 in this case to 0.008. The next line is going to be a little bit confusing. So I'm going to take total, and it's going to equal the principal, and that's going to be multiplied by. Now, I'm going to move these parentheses over a little bit, so the rest of this might make a little bit more sense. Something I haven't mentioned, C++ is not white space sensitive. It doesn't care. One thing Visual Studio will do is it will shrink these down on you if you move to a different line some of the time. It just did it a second ago, but what we want to put in here is the word POW, like you're shooting a toy gun or something. And we're going to expand out POW as well. So what POW means is we're going to be raising something to an exponent. And so we're going to be raising APR to the year's power, right? So we're going to do like that. And then we're going to bring this a little closer. Okay, so that's actually the entirety of this equation, is this right here. But there is an error. If we use APR just like this, our number is going to get smaller and smaller because years is going to be multiplied by a number that is less than 1. So we have to set up another set of parentheses here and do 1 plus APR. So that way we're using a positive rate of growth. So that way it will be 8% every year if we decide to use 8. So in this case, we're going to say cout. Yeah, one thing I forgot to do here is I'm going to add in \n at the beginning of these lines. So backslash in C++ is what's known as an escape character, and the n, when there's a escape character before it, means new line. So it's the same thing as an endl, except in this case there's no need to type quite as much. So in this case I'm going to add in another \n and say the amount in your account after years is, oh, well, we should actually, will be there we go. And so when we give this a run, we're going to start off with $1,000. We're going to make our APR 8, and we are going to invest for 2 years. Just doing some quick math in my head here. That should be somewhere around like $1,166. And I clearly hit a button when I did that, so let's run it again. 8, 2 years, and yeah, 1166.4, and I'll throw in an endl here before I upload it. And so that's kind of the basics of how you would make a simple interest calculator. As you can see, it does not look like we're dealing with money. There's no decimal points being shown unless they absolutely have to be. And we're going to address that in our next video where we talk about a library called IOmanip. So I hope that you guys will join me for that. This has been lesson number 3. Your homework has already been assigned in the source code over here. You guys are going to be building a simple interest calculator. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please toss those down below. There will be a forum thread just for this specific lesson. So if you want to shoot over to our forums at beginnerscpp.com/forums, that's always there. Like, favorite, share, whatever. And I will see you guys all next time.